Hey guys, this is Rob, your online guitar teacher, and this video is going to be about how you're probably ruining your guitar tone. So recently I've been playing around with effects and pedals, which is kind of normal for us guitarists. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. As a guitarist, it's a really good idea to know a bit about the effects you're using and the sound you're creating. One of the main problems people have is they turn the gain up too high. Now, I'm going to show you why that's a bad idea. I've recorded this riff into my computer, just clean. Then I've run the signal through Rack-A-Rack, which is a program that I have on my computer. It's very different to most guitar effects programs in that it doesn't try to emulate an actual pedal, and so it can be a bit difficult if you don't know what you're doing. But it does mean we can do the effects separately. So what many people do is they turn up the gain to get that kind of metal sound. Now, that's not always a good idea, and I can show you that because let's add in just some distortion to this original signal. And yes, it sounds just distorted and fizzy and kind of horrible, really. But what did you expect? You've added distortion to distort the signal. And that's just it. That's what distortion is. And as you turn up the gain, you're turning up the distortion, which is getting you closer to this fizzy mess thing. Hang on, surely we can EQ that to get rid of some of the high end? Well, that makes sense, because if we take out some of the higher frequencies, it's going to sound less fizzy, right? Let's have a go at that. Well, it's less fizzy, but you wouldn't really want to gig with that tone. It's not much better. Aha, but you've just gone straight through distortion, so there's no amp or cabinet involved. Yes, it is true that your guitar signal does not sound great straight out the pedal. It does require it to go through an amp and a cab to actually sound like a proper guitar. And guitar pedals are built this way. So if you just plug your guitar pedal into your computer and expect to record that way, it's not going to work unless you've got these specific things on your pedal emulating speakers. So, what I've done is I've got a cabinet simulator that is an impulse response. And I've also got a simulation of a Mesa head. So it's a Mesa head simulated going into a 4x12 cab, which is also simulated. Let's have a listen to that. Well, that might sound better, but not by a lot. And this video is not going to be about just me showing you sucky tones that I can produce from my computer. The point is, this can sound good, but turning up the gain is not the way to do it. So, what I'm going to do next is we're going to add some compression to the original signal, and let's see how that sounds. So I'll play the signal originally and then with some compression. Now, I've then added some EQ, which takes out some of the low end. I'm actually taking out more of the low end than the high end, only a little bit of the high end. So now that we've got a good EQ'd original signal, we can add that distortion back in, and we're actually distorting certain parts of it more than others, which is more likely what goes on inside a pedal. Now that sounds much better. As I said, I'm not a sound engineer, and I'm not someone who designs pedals. I'm just a guitarist and guitar teacher. But hopefully I've proved to you today that changing the EQ settings on your equipment and on your amp is much better than just turning up the gain. Yeah, it turns out that nice liquidy distortion you get is actually tube saturation, which is compression more than it is distortion. Or it's a well-built pedal that has filters and EQ built into it along with some compression, but it's not the gain that's giving you that tone. If you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe. You can get in contact via my website linked below for information on one-to-one guitar lessons via Skype or webcam. You can also go to the link below to donate to this channel to help improve this channel via Patreon. And until then, remember, turn up and rock out. Just remember not to use too much distortion.